Listen to the Wealth Talks podcast and increase your financial wisdom. You will find episodes about investments, the infinite banking concept, how to fight inflation, the financial side of retirement, and financial questions Jesse asked his girlfriend. Listen to the Wealth Talks podcast on any podcast platform or watch it on YouTube. There are new episodes of the Wealth Talks podcast weekly. Search for Wealth Talks podcast online and subscribe for free.
Take the guesswork out of gourmet. Playhouse Spices gives you a leg-up weapon in the kitchen. Playhouse Spices elevates your cooking with gourmet, handcrafted blends made with clean, healthy ingredients. Explore exciting flavors and become a masterful home chef. Visit PlayhouseSpices.com and use code TODD for 20% off your first order over $50. Playhouse Spices. Seek, explore, taste. That's PlayhouseSpices.com.
Attention, you're listening to the Todd Huff Radio Show, America's home for conservative, not bitter talk radio. Be advised that the content of this program has been documented to prevent and even cure liberalism, and listening may cause you to lean to the right. Here's your conservative, but not bitter host, Todd Huff.
Well, that is right, my friends. You have tuned in to America's home for conservative, not bitter talk. I am your host, the one and only, the ever so beloved Todd Huff. It is my pleasure to be here. I hope you had a great weekend. Email, should you want to be part of the conversation, todd@toddhuffshow.com. Or if you prefer, you can text 317-210-2830. Folks, the Democrat Party is in shambles. It is in ruins. Now, I've talked about this. This is not by any stretch of the imagination. Do not understand or misunderstand. Definitely understand. Do not misunderstand what I'm saying here. This is not any sort of a celebratory victory dance as the Republicans have defeated Democrats once and for all. That is simply not the way that this is going to work. The Democrat Party will adjust. The Democrat Party will begin to make some changes. But what I guess there is a little bit of celebratory nature to this dialogue today. I am celebrating the fact that the ideas that are central to what has caused these problems for the Democrat Party, they are going to have to be changed. They are going to have to be changed, or the party will suffer greater harm. At some point, they will suffer irreparable harm. As you know, I don't take any joy in the people that are running that party suffering. I rejoice with the American people when we realize that by the Democrats having to make these decisions, and they're going to have to make this decision, my friends, to truly abandon wokeism, to get who's out there leading their party right now. It is AOC. It is Bernie Sanders. Those are the spokespeople for the party. That is not what needs to happen. Now, listen, as someone who is in favor of truth, in favor of returning to core American principles, I'm happy to watch them go out there and do whatever they're doing. It is not helping their cause whatsoever. In fact, I'm quite skeptical of the crowds that they are drawing. I know that there are more socialists and radical leftists in this country than I care to admit, but I will tell you this. I'm very skeptical that these folks who are showing up to these things, I've seen some things that I don't know that are true or not, but my senses are that these are not all genuine, authentic, grassroots people that are showing up to this. There's some information out there that would suggest otherwise. Anyway, that's what I want to talk about today. I've got a soundbite here that I want to get to. It looks like Jason Chaffetz is filling in for Hannity, and he has former Clinton pollster Mark Penn on. If you followed politics for some time, you will know the name Mark Penn. He's basically telling them he's never seen anything like this. So I want to get into this, the state of the Democrat Party, what needs to happen, not just, for the overall health of this country, how this impacts the people you're going to be voting for here in 2 years and 4 years and so forth. That's what we want to get to, my friends. But before we do that, if you love seafood, I'm talking real, authentic, genuine, straight from the water seafood, you've got to check out Kenai Fish. Kenai Fish is a family-owned company delivering wild-caught Alaskan seafood straight to your door. Their salmon, which includes sockeye, coho, and king salmon, is harvested from the pristine waters of the Kenai and the Castleoff rivers in Alaska. This is shipped to you vacuum sealed. It will arrive via next day air to lock in that fresh, just caught flavor. We're not talking about shipments that come on trains that have to go through processing to end up on grocery store shelves. It doesn't matter if you are in the central part of the United States in a place that's landlocked. You're not near places that harvest its own seafood. You can get it with Kenai Fish. They've also got halibut from the Gulf of Alaska, not to be confused with the Gulf of America. It's mild, it's sweet, it's perfect for any recipe. And there's shellfish, king crabs, snow crabs, scallops. It's the best Alaska has to offer. Kenai Fish is about quality, sustainability, and supporting hard-working fishermen. Go to KENAIfish.com today. Use promo code Todd. You'll save 15% on your order. KENAI Fish. That's KenaiFish.com. KENAI is how you spell Kenai. KenaiFish.com. You'll taste the difference, my friends. And if I may say so myself, you will be hooked. All right. So let's get here to this soundbite. Jason Chaffetz filling in for Sean Hannity sometime last week. He's got a panel of guests on here. He's going to be talking with former Clinton pollster Mark Penn. Now, it's interesting to me. I want to take a little bit of a run through history, just semi-recent history. But to some folks, this might be considered ancient history. But the days of Bill Clinton, right? Bill Clinton burst onto the national scene in the early 90s. He became president in 1992, was reelected in 1996. In fact, the first time I ever voted was in the 1996 election. That was the choice between William Jefferson Clinton, Bill Clinton himself, and Bob Dole. Bob Dole was beaten pretty badly, and Bill Clinton won re-election. That was the first time that I actually was able to cast a ballot in any election, and it was a presidential election. So, but what's interesting to me is you look back in time. Now, the Clinton campaign, the Clinton administration, the people that are involved or were involved with the Clintons, there's a lot of problems there, right? There's a lot of sketchy characters. There's a lot of alleged and possible corruption. There's all sorts of stuff that comes with the Clintons. It goes back. I mean, you want to really dig deep, dig into the Clinton, the Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton's rise to political prominence. You just go back and look at that. Go back to their days in Arkansas. Man, oh man, there's so many things that as I'm even saying these words that that pop into my memory bank as far as some of the things that happened or alleged to have happened and so forth with the Clintons. It's eye-opening and mind-boggling. I have to say that because I know many of you, you're like me. I'm 47 years old. And I remember the Clintons. It was in my younger years. I've been paying attention for that long. Probably a little bit longer than the Clintons, not much. I still remember Reagan a little bit in the 80s as a kid, but I didn't get a vote for Reagan. I didn't get a vote I did get to vote. No, I didn't, for George H.W. Bush, but I followed things back then as well, pretty closely, more and more closely as I got older. But anyway, I remember these names. I remember the folks who who've been in politics, who are DC insiders. So these were Democrats who supported Clinton, who worked with Clinton, and Clinton worked with his pollsters, worked with his team about messaging. He worked strategically to win office, to win re-election. They worked to defend him for his impeachment charges back in, whatever that was, 97, I guess, 98, whatever year that was, with the Monica Lewinsky scandal and all of that. Anyway, but politics was dirty. Politics was, not, you had to be ready for the mudslinging and the intense way of intensity. If you went into the political world, you had to be prepared. It was going to be a dogfight and all of that. But they had not left. The Democrat Party had not gone off the rails at this particular point in time. They were still who they are, a lot of them. They wanted to move this country further left. They were liberals. They were sometimes dangerously liberal. They were sometimes even leftist, but they had to pretend back then. They had to pretend that they were not. Of course, some of them weren't, but they had a way of kind of coalescing around each other and getting things done when it came time to win elections. Then 1994 came along. I don't want to go through a whole history here, but that was Republicans. Newt Gingrich took control of the House. I mean, it was a landslide sort of a thing in Congress that year. So, but the point here is that the people involved in that world, that's back when politics was still politics. Now, granted, we had some ideas that were dangerous. Granted, we were headed in the wrong direction. Granted, at the core of all of this was a lot of what we're seeing manifest itself here today and in this country. They laid the groundwork for the Bernie Sanders, the AOCs, the Ayanna Presleys, the Squad, all of that. The groundwork had been laid in the 90s, and they've progressively, this is where they actually get the term right, they've not shown any progress for the nation, but they were progressing towards a more radical agenda in the Democrat Party. And every step they take to the left, they begin to lose some of these people that were part of the core. Because at the part of that core was a group of people that really were not crazy people. They simply, I think that their ideas are still wrong. I think in some cases they're dangerously wrong. But in general, these ideas were not anti-American. They simply said we need to side with the working class. We need to side with the working class over free markets and all that sort of stuff. But it wasn't about whether or not boys could be girls. It wasn't about whether or not America was fundamentally a terrible place to live. It wasn't about whether or not schools should be able to change the gender of your child without you knowing it. It wasn't about some of these crazy, ridiculous things. It wasn't about DEI. I mean, there was elements of that, affirmative action and all those things back in the day. But this was not, it's not the same party. And you go, that's going 30 years back to the early mid-90s. You go another 30 years back, you're at JFK. You talk about a party that would not recognize itself today. That's John F. Kennedy and his Democrats of the day. But they have abandoned the people that Mr. Penn was working with, the people that Mr. Penn, the people that were a part of the Democrat Party when Mr. Penn was working with Clinton, an advisor with Mr. Clinton, Bill Clinton, they are not in the party, or they are out there floundering, wondering where they belong. They're wondering where they belong. The Democrat Party has lost its mind, and the only people that are in favor of what the Democrats are doing today, there's some exceptions, but in general, it's the radicals. It's the radicals or the uninformed or the Trump haters. That is basically who's left in their political camp right now. So I want to play this. Jason Chaffetz turns it over here to Mark Penn and basically says, what's going on here, Mr. Penn? And listen to what Mark Penn has to say.
Beautiful night.
He's a Democrat.
Mark, I got to start with you. You follow this as close as anybody. To say the Democratic Party is in ruins, it doesn't get much stronger than that, Mark.
Well, I've never seen anything like this in over 40 years of polling. The Democratic Party ratings have collapsed from a 47% favorable down to 29, 27 in some of these polls. And that's an incredible loss of moderate, working class voters.
They're gone.
Those kinds of voters that the Democratic Party needs to win elections, and it's being shrunk to a base of left-wing advocates like Bernie Sanders and AOC who are touring the country carrying the Democratic banner. That's not helping.
It's not helping.
Yeah, well, it's helping one party. It
is helping
beautiful
one
night.
party, as Jason Chaffetz says there. So if you've listened to this program for any length of time, if you've listened to this program for any length of time at all, you will know that this is a recurring theme. And there's a reason for this. First of all, it matters to me. I'm not here. Some people take to microphones like this to just attack and relentlessly, try to make this about personalities and people. And that might get you clicks and so forth and all of that, the echo chamber cheering for you. But that's not how I approach this, right? This country was made great because we were built upon ideas that were rooted in truth. And all truth, by the way, comes from our Creator. So what is those truths, if you will, that made America great are things like this idea that you have rights. You have been granted not by your government, not by some other human being, but by your Creator. You have been given rights by Him by virtue of being a human being. You have the right to your own opinions, which can turn into your own speech, which can turn into your own, the people that you want to associate with. Freedom of assembly. You can take those beliefs, those ideas, those opinions, and voice those opinions. You can tell other people about them. You can go and protest peaceably to your government for a redress of grievances. Hey, this is where you've hurt my family. This is where you've hurt me. This is what I don't like about what you're doing. I'm going to protest, and I want you to remedy it. I want you to do something about it. If not, we're going to elect other people. That's the objective here. These are all things that are good. This country was founded upon the idea that we are citizens and not subjects. We don't have rulers in this country that we answer to. We are people who are certainly part of a government, and we have to exist under the authority of the government, but it's only the authority that we, the people, give to it. That's what the Constitution is. It's saying we, the people, give you, the federal government, these powers, but you don't have them because you have them. You have them because we have given them to you. And as in return, we're going to subject ourselves in these particular areas to the government. But anytime that you behave badly, anytime that you step out of line, anytime that you do things that we don't like, that are harming us, that are hurtful to us, our businesses, our families, whatever, we have an obligation, I would say, at least the right, to then step forward and do something about it. We are going to hold you accountable. You represent us, and that's how this works. It's a beautiful thing. The prosperity that has come from this is incalculable. It is remarkable, the amount of good in the sense of personal liberty, from the perspective of financial blessing, or just overall improvement in the quality of life, what this nation has been able to accomplish by spreading these principles, by allowing these principles to exist first here and then watching them spread elsewhere. It's a remarkable thing. The United States of America truly is a shining city on a hill. We have made terrible mistakes. I'm not going to go through them and name them. Anytime I name them, whatever I leave out is going to be suggested that I am in favor of it. That's not the way that works. I know that this country has done some bad things, some egregious, some terrible things, some wicked things. But our foundation, the foundation I just articulated there, that's the foundation I'm talking about. That's the foundation that is good. And in order for us, okay, as I look across this country today and I see this political divide, I don't see this as a political divide. I saw it as a political divide in the 90s. I saw it as people who, they have different perspectives on doing things. The liberals wanted the government to do more, libertarians wanted the government to do less, and that's where we find ourselves having those fights. But now we want to see, or now we don't want to see, but we are seeing a complete recreation or an attempt to recreate reality as we know it. The radical left is trying to redefine truth and reality. They can't define what a woman is. They can't define any longer what a recession is. They take responsibility for nothing. They have basically ushered in, and listen, I know that there are people from every political viewpoint who have, well, they've got some bad behavior, right? Anytime you've got a group of people, you're going to have people in your group. I don't care what your group, you're going to have people that are doing things that you don't personally approve of, things that embarrass the group, things that are not good, things that are illegal. Anytime a group is big enough, that's absolutely going to happen. But there's a difference between having a group have people. It's comprised of people who are doing things individually that are wrong, breaking the law, versus the group promoting ideas that are dangerous, that are in some cases illegal, that are in some cases un-American. And that's what we've gotten to today. That's why the Democrat Party is in utter shambles. It doesn't mean it's over and done with. It simply means that it is in a mess. Now, I believe in persuasion. And I don't care. I do care. I used to say I don't care what your thoughts are. In the sense of it doesn't matter who you are. You can listen to this program. You can agree with me and be nodding in agreement 99.9% of the time. You can be shaking your head and yelling at your radio, at your device where you're listening on the podcast or whatever. That's fine. It doesn't matter to me. What I hope is that you will at least listen to what I have to say. You don't have to like me. It's very hard not to, I might add. But listen, this is important stuff. I am appealing to your reason. You ever hear me say on this program, if you've listened to a while, I know you have, 80% of this country, I do believe this, 80% of the country would agree with 80% of the things that I say on here. I really and truthfully believe that. And I also believe that 100% of the people should agree with 100% of the things that I'm saying. But be that as it may, this country is not a left of center country. And that's what we're seeing. That's why we're witnessing the implosion of the Democrat Party. But it's not just about politics anymore. It's about things. It's about how we live life. It's about what we determine to be true. People are trying to reestablish how this nation was founded. So, more to say about this and the implosion of the Democrat Party, my friends, in a moment. But if you are in sales, let me ask you, how would your life change if you doubled your sales? Think about that for a moment, my friends. More deals, bigger commissions, less stress, heck, maybe a promotion, I don't know. That's exactly what Matt Easton and Easton University can help you achieve. Matt's system is designed to help transform your sales career. And he'll even personally jump on a call with you to help you get started when you become a student, a member of Easton University. He'll help walk you through as a listener of this program, get you ramped up to the program, and help you identify those core areas that you need to improve on first. It's not just a training program, it's a path to success, and it's a proven path at that. But you have to take the first step. Visit toddhuffshow.com/Easton. That's EASTON. toddhuffshow.com/Easton now to claim your personal call with Matt Easton himself when you become a student of Easton University. toddhuffshow.com/Easton. Don't let another opportunity slip through your hands. Your future in sales starts today. I have to take a break, my friends. Back here in just a minute.
Listen to the Wealth Talks podcast and increase your financial wisdom. You will find episodes about investments, the infinite banking concept, how to fight inflation, the financial side of retirement, and financial questions Jesse asked his girlfriend. Listen to the Wealth Talks podcast on any podcast platform or watch it on YouTube. There are new episodes of the Wealth Talks podcast weekly. Search for Wealth Talks podcast online and subscribe for free.
At FurnitureMadeInUSA.com, we provide beautiful chairs, rockers, stools, and tables handcrafted by skilled American artisans in North Carolina since 1924. With every purchase, you're supporting American businesses, American workers, and their families. Don't just buy furniture. Invest in a piece of American history. Shop now at FurnitureMadeInUSA.com.
Tired of store-bought produce? Ever dreamed of growing your own healthy food but worried about space? Exo Hydroponics is a perfect solution. Exo Hydroponics is a family-owned business run by a mother and daughter team. Their innovative Exo Tower lets you grow up to 28 plants indoors or out, using less than 2 square feet. Visit exotowers.com today and start your journey to growing fresh organic food at home. That's exotowers.com.
Welcome back, my friends. So, I want to continue what we talked about last segment, which is the implosion of the Democrat Party and the reasons as to why that is happening. This is not some sort of a celebratory end of the Democrat Party party here. That's not what this is at all. The Democrat Party will adjust. That's in fact what it's trying to do. I do celebrate that the party, in order for it to adjust to win back the people that it needs, it has to abandon the radical stuff that it has embraced. It has to abandon the defense of the deep state. It has to abandon the defense of all this out-of-control spending. It has to abandon high taxes. It has to abandon bureaucracy. I mean, watch Bill Maher. I saw clips. Bill Maher has started to make more and more sense over time. Not complete sense by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, I would say Bill Barr doesn't like people like me really at all. I am a Christian. Bill Barr thinks people like me are idiots and fools. And listen, he's free to have that opinion. And I welcome the conversation because I find nothing more important than how we answer the question, is there a God? How does he relate to us, if so at all? And what do I do with that? What is the truth? Who is God? Is there a God? I think that there is no more important question to our existence than that. Up there is also how we live, how we structure our society, and that's why this battle over politics is interesting to me, because these things matter tremendously. They shape our lives in ways that I don't know that we fully and completely, actually I know we don't fully and completely understand those. But before the break, I was talking about how we were created to live, how this country was created to reflect truth that came from our Creator. We went through some of that. I talked about how the Democrat Party has abandoned truth. Now, I'm saying these things, but I want to differentiate. In fact, I've got a Todd Talk that I just cut today that talks about someone who is left of center, someone who I knew years ago who had an issue with me saying some things. Can't believe you'd say that sort of thing, Todd. I'm left of center. That doesn't represent me. I said, hold on, Joel. Take it easy. You're listening to a 60-second clip. Let me give you full context. I don't have the ability to give you full context in the entirety of a 60-second clip. So when I talk about the radical left, that's not all Democrats. And I want everybody hearing my voice. Listen, I know we're now on the radio in Portland, Oregon. There might be some of you in Portland, Oregon, who thinks that every Democrat is an extreme, radical, off-the-charts leftist. And I will say, in your part of the country, that very well may be the case, although not completely. But it may certainly feel that way. But you're in one of the, I would say, top 5 craziest cities in America. I think of Seattle. I think of Portland. I think of San Francisco. I mean, you could say Chicago, New York in ways, maybe Los Angeles probably too. California has a lot of those cities because they're run by lunatics at the state level as well. But that's not the vast majority of Democrats. I was raised in a Union Democrat home. I was raised by a father who was a member of UAW Local 933. He is not a raging leftist. He's not even a liberal. He is just someone who has hesitations in trusting business and the party that promotes free, basically less regulations and so forth on business, free trade, and now we got the tariffs and all that. But the general idea is, hey, we're going to have free and fair trade. We're not going to have one-sided, lopsided deals and so forth. Anyway, and these are a lot of the people that I knew. A lot of people in my part of the country. I'm in Indianapolis. But even the people who are liberal or who are Democrats are not unhinged leftists. And what do I mean by this? And maybe that's important to understand, because we have to be able to have these discussions and debates. I'm a conservative, and that means that I believe in a limited government. I believe that what's most important is your liberty. Your liberty is at the top of the list. And unless we, the people, have granted the government some authority explicitly through the Constitution, it's none of their stinking business. It's none of their business. Your freedom to swing your arm ends where someone else's nose begins. I believe these things, even if you are doing things with which I personally disagree. For example, if you're an atheist and you want to take to the podium and talk about how there is no God and how Christians are idiots and fools, have at it. I personally think that's absurd and ridiculous, and I have my reasons for that, but I respect your right to be able to say these things. And that used to be a prerequisite. If you really believed in freedom, if you really believed in liberty, you would vociferously, from a position of principle, defend those with whom you personally disagree, defend their freedom to say and do things that are legal, not destroy property, not burn Teslas down or anything like that, but actually defend their rights to say the things that they want to say, believe the things that they want to believe. It comes down to persuasion. Those convinced against their will are of the same opinion still. There's no such thing as forcing someone into believing, or I should say agreeing with you. You can force compliance, and that's what government does all the time. Government is force, and I mean, at its core, that's exactly what it is. It's where the debate ends, and the government says, we take over from here. Here's how it's going to work. You do it our way, or you will face the consequences. You will pay the fine. You will face the charges. That's exactly what government is. And so it stands to reason that we should give as few of things as possible under that purview, because there's no more room for choice and debate and freedom and so forth. It's now under the control of force. I am appealing to you based upon your ability to reason. Come, let us reason together. That's how I look at this. And so a lot of people don't. A lot of people out there, or some, I'll say some, I don't want to tip the scales too much in one direction. But they want to make people pay. They want to get even. So when you hear me say conservative, not bitter, that's not what we're about. I'm about promoting truth. Yeah, there's things worth fighting for. There's things worth getting angry about. There's things that we need to be ready to have a political dogfight over. But that doesn't mean that we've become bitter, that we've stopped loving our fellow American. That's gotten lost in in the midst of this entire process. It doesn't mean that you've given up and thrown up your hands and said there's no point. I might also, conversely, not trying to burn it to the ground. I'm not trying to, I believe that in order for this country to grow and to be healthy, instead of just making those on the other side stick it to them, we should be trying to win them over. Now, listen, I'm under no illusion. This is not an easy process. This isn't an easy thing to accomplish. This is something that is difficult. I mean, some people have been affiliated with their political party their entire lives. It goes back generations. I remember even personally at times knowing my dad was a Democrat, feeling like I disappointed him by being a Republican or a conservative. I understand those pressures, my friends. But that doesn't mean that we abandon logic and reason, that we abandon these truly important principles that have transformed life on this planet. We have to stand up for them. We have to communicate them, and we have to persuade others to agree with them. Reagan said, I love this, freedom is always one generation away from extinction. We do not, I'm paraphrasing here, but we don't pass down liberty in our DNA, in our DNA. We don't do that. It's not passed down in the bloodstream. We have to explain it. We have to articulate it. We have to win over the next generation to accept the truth that freedom and liberty and the founding of this nation is a good thing, and that they should embrace it, that they should defend it, and that they should then pass it along to the next generation as well, all the while seeking to make it even better. So, got to take a break here. Before I do, those words actually lead me to tell you that we're building a members program called the Inner Circle. And in that Inner Circle, there's going to be other content, more stuff like this, behind the scenes updates, video chats, and all sorts of things. We want to help people become better equipped conservatives to spread the message, better at communicating, better at organizing, better at all these sorts of things. And so you can become a lifetime member for a one-time investment of $99 to the Inner Circle. That gets you in for life as long as you're here, the program is here, you're in the membership. $99. All you have to do is go to toddhuffshow.com/join. Again, that's toddhuffshow.com/join. Or you can text the word join to 317-210-2830. Again, text join to 317-210-2830. And that's join, Join. I have to take a break, my friends. Quick time out, back here in just a minute.
Listen to the Wealth Talks podcast and increase your financial wisdom. You will find episodes about investments, the infinite banking concept, how to fight inflation, the financial side of retirement, and financial questions Jesse asked his girlfriend. Listen to the Wealth Talks podcast on any podcast platform or watch it on YouTube. There are new episodes of the Wealth Talks podcast weekly. Search for Wealth Talks podcast online and subscribe for free.
Seeking natural solutions for your health and wellness? Look no further than Garden Root Remedy. We offer handcrafted herbal tinctures, salves, teas, and more made with only the highest quality organic herbs. We provide personalized consultations to help you find the perfect herbal remedy for your specific needs. Experience the power of nature's healing touch. Visit Garden Root Remedy online at gardenrootremedy.com. That's gardenrootremedy.com. Rooted in nature, blooming with wellness.
Take the guesswork out of gourmet. Playhouse Spices gives you a leg-up weapon in the kitchen. Playhouse Spices elevates your cooking with gourmet, handcrafted blends made with clean, healthy ingredients. Explore exciting flavors and become a masterful home chef. Visit playhousespices.com and use code TODD for 20% off your first order over $50. Playhouse Spices. Seek, explore, taste. That's playhousespices.com.
Welcome back, my friends. If I'm right, and of course I am, sorry, that makes my kids and I, we watch reruns of a show called Monk, and that's kind of what Monk says on there. I think he says it in the negative, though. I think he says, unless I'm wrong, which I'm not. I think is how he says it. Anyway, but what matters here in this country, continuing what we were talking about at the end of last segment, what matters here to this country, and I think that there's never been a time where this matters more. We are in a position, a unique position. The Democrat Party is in shambles. People are looking for answers. They know that what we've been experiencing, or what we experienced under the Biden administration, under Democratic rule, has been disastrous. More and more people are realizing this. More and more people are realizing that it can't just be the platitudes and the promises. At some point, your policies, your positions, the way you govern, the way you legislate, it actually affects people's lives. It doesn't matter what your intentions are, what your stated purpose is. What matters is what your policies and your ideas have done. And the Democrat Party's ideas have destroyed this nation. Now, it's not irreparably destroyed, but it's just a mess. They've destroyed their own party. They've destroyed the country. And there's a lot of people out there that know this. They may not be able to articulate it the same way that we do, that I do, that you do, whatever. They may see it a little bit differently, but they know this can't be the way this is supposed to work. There's no way America has had this level of massive internal problems for its existence because it wouldn't have gotten through them all. This is a phenomenon that's created by these leftists. And listen, we are to blame for this. We fell asleep at the wheel collectively. I don't mean you specifically, but collectively, this is created by the American people. We've allowed this to happen. But there are people now that don't have a political home. And so we have a choice to make. We have a choice that says, look, I'm going to try to explain why the conservative movement, the Republican Party, is a better home for you if you fit into this category. If you are somebody who's out there who says, look, the Democrat Party abandoned me. It became a party that focuses on single issue voters, that it focuses on extremist positions. They reject truth and reality and human nature. They can't define women. They can't, their monetary policies are destructive. Their desire for massive amounts of bureaucracy have caused untold damage upon the taxpayers, the cities, the states in our country, the federal government. We have massive amounts of debt. They pretend like they care. They don't care. They've watched this country go down the tubes for decades now. They've done nothing except for to further contribute to these problems. And then they double down and triple down on some of these ridiculous things about education policies and defending the money that's being spent by the federal government, the way that DOGE has exposed things. They're on the wrong side of all of this. Literally all of this. And people see this. People know this. And so we have an opportunity. I said in a recent Todd Talk here that if that describes you, I welcome you. I welcome you to this show. I welcome you to the Republican Party. And I'll tell you this, I don't even like to call myself a Republican a lot. There's a lot of times that I am not a fan of the Republican Party. I'm a fan of what Trump's doing. I was thinking about this earlier today. So far, everything that's happened positively has happened within the executive branch. This has happened within the president's, his saying we're going to change things that the previous administration has done. We're going to change the way that we manage things in the executive branch. Some of these things are being challenged. People saying that this is a step too far, or maybe many steps too far outside of genuine, authentic, constitutional executive authority. Meanwhile, I'm over here saying, why can one side do whatever they want when they're in power, and then when Republicans are in power, they can't really do anything even to undo the massive movements that we've made towards the bureaucratic state, towards, say, the deportation of people that are criminal illegal aliens. Are they really defending these people? The left is really defending Tren de Aragua. These violent people, these people who are, just wicked in our country, terrorizing, murdering, assaulting, raping. They're on the side of defend. Listen, I'm all for due process, but I'm also for following the law. I'm also for doing what needs to be done within the confines of the law, even if you have to say this law applies in this circumstance. It's never been tested before, but I'm claiming that it does, and this is why I'm doing it. I actually like these steps. But I welcome people who, you don't have to agree with all of the details. But if you're looking for a new political home, you are welcome to join. I welcome you to the Republican Party. And there's going to be times when you're not going to agree with it. There's going to be times I don't agree with it. I've shared those on this program. But it is the only place that reason and sense lives in Washington, D.C. today. I'll tell you that. And so, my friends, I welcome you also to this program. Welcome you to this program, and hope that you decide to stick around because I think it's important that we try to explain these ideas and accept truth. But I've got to go out of time here, my friends. SDG.
Listen to the Wealth Talks podcast and increase your financial wisdom. You will find episodes about investments, the infinite banking concept, how to fight inflation, the financial side of retirement, and financial questions Jesse asked his girlfriend. Listen to the Wealth Talks podcast on any podcast platform or watch it on YouTube. There are new episodes of the Wealth Talks podcast weekly. Search for Wealth Talks podcast online and subscribe for free.
At FurnitureMadeInUSA.com, we provide beautiful chairs, rockers, stools, and tables handcrafted by skilled American artisans in North Carolina since 1924. With every purchase, you're supporting American businesses, American workers, and their families. Don't just buy furniture, invest in a piece of American history. Shop now at FurnitureMadeInUSA.com.